Next, I'd like to introduce Barrett Brooks. He is also an overachiever NFL player. I went down to the local chapter for the retired NFL players back in August in San Antonio. Actually, Frank Rodriguez up there drove me down to San Antonio. We prepared a presentation to the local chapter for the retired NFL players. And when we were there, we actually got a snippet from somebody saying, did you know that the average lifetime of a player in the NFL is about 3 years? And we were like, whoa, okay. Well, Barrett Brooks has been in the NFL for 12 years. So he just multiplied that by 4. So a little bit of background on Barrett is he was born in St. Louis, Missouri, so he's from the Midwest. I don't know if any of you are from the Midwest, but you can clap now if you are, or even if you're not. I should see my husband here because he's from Chicago, but he's not out there. So he played football and basketball. He attended and played college football at Kansas State University. He played 4 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. He played for the Detroit Lions. In 2002, he played for the New York Giants. And in 2003 to 2006, he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers and won a Super Bowl in 2006 against Seattle. So I told Barrett, you need to wear your Super Bowl ring because we all need to take a look at that. Currently, he's doing a lot of local media. He is an ESPN content editor for NFL Matchup, and he's done multiple...
You have to bore him with all that. That's all boring stuff. It's all boring stuff. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How's everybody doing today? That's all boring stuff, Football stuff, that's all boring stuff, We talk about life. That's what we're talking about, really. And I think that's why we're all here. And you ladies understand, a new lifestyle now. And I definitely have a new lifestyle. See, I got drafted back in '95 by the Philadelphia Eagles. And at that time, I was one of 5 players being drafted that year over 300 pounds. I was 304 pounds when I got drafted. At that point, most offensive linemen were like 290, 280. And we were like the new kids on the block coming in, and we were supposed to be these bigger, faster, and stronger guys. And at that point, we were bigger and faster and stronger. And at that point, I also had to eat probably around about 6,000 to 7,000 calories a day just to keep my weight up. Now picture that, keeping my weight up. When I was playing in the NFL, I usually played as I got older. Every 2 years, I would gain like 15 pounds. After a 12-year NFL career, that's a lot of poundage going on your body, a whole lot of poundage. I tell you, they say you was country when country wasn't cool. I was big when big was real cool, But as I progressed on, and I had an injury. I ripped my quad muscle from my kneecap, from my patella tendon. My whole quad muscle was up here. So that's the reason why I retired. I retired a year after I won the Super Bowl. And during that time, I was on my butt for 18, 19 months trying to recover from it. So lo and behold, I'm bringing in 6,000, 7,000 calories still, and I'm sitting on my butt. So at that point, the scale went up and up and up. So when I finally did get a chance to start working out and everything, I lost a little bit. So I got up to like maybe 375 pounds. I was like, I'm getting back. I'm going to go back to the NFL. But that wasn't really what I was going to do. I was just trying to get this weight off, just trying to, mind psyche, try to get it off and get back to my weight that I played at, because at that time I was playing around 345, 350. So I got back down to that. I decided I wanted to be on TV. So in order for me to be on TV, I was never the big-time athlete. Nobody really knew who Barrett Brooks was, because I wasn't a quarterback, I wasn't a running back, I wasn't, the people that you see every day. When you heard my name in the game, it was because I was either holding somebody or jumping off sides or causing a penalty or something. You know, that's the only time you heard my name. It wasn't like, you know, Charlie Batch or Ben Roethlisberger, you know, throwing a 30-yard bomb or something. It was because I was holding. Then I had to go on the sidelines, hear from the coach, or, you know, whatever, you know. But I had to, you know, eventually get that weight off because I was, you know, like I said, I was still taking in 6,000, 7,000 calories a day. I can remember actually going to what is it, where you get the bloomin' onion from. I don't know if you heard of bloomin' onion? Outback? If I'd have known then what I know now, I used to go eat 2 bloomin' onions at a sit down. A bloomin' onion, I'd eat 2 at a time, then I'd get the porterhouse, and I wouldn't leave out the shrimp and the potatoes and the sour cream and the chives and the bacon and the cheddar cheese and more bacon, you know what I mean? I could eat, you know? But eventually everything caught up with me. So instead of me getting in front of the camera, I went behind the camera. I learned how to be an editor. I learned how to be a producer. So I started producing this show on NFL Network called NFL Playbook. So when I got hired for the job, all I did was sit down. That's all I do now, is sit down and break down concepts of football. See, I watch every single game in the NFL every week. Every single game. I break down every single play, and I give what I think is what they're trying to do to break down another team. Then I turn around, I tell it to all these big-time people like Sterling Sharp, you know, you name Brian Baldinger, Ron Jaworski. See, I make them feel smart all the time, you know, and they trust me, you know, when I say something. Like I could be telling, you know, I'm talking to Sterling Sharp in his ear while he's on TV. So if I'm telling him, hey man, what they're doing, they're bringing the safety down. When they bring the safety down, they're bringing a cover 2 blitz from this side, and they bring the linebacker from this side. I can tell him that, and he'll say it on film. He trusts me enough that I could probably slip in something like, hey man, Sterling, hey, your mother's ugly. And he'll probably say, you know, I heard it from a reliable source that my mother's ugly. I heard it from Barrett Brooks. He said it, so it must be true. That's how much he trusts me. That's how much he trusts me. But like 4 years ago, I'm sitting down, breaking down concepts in there, and it's the best job in the world. I get to watch football and people pay me for it. Can you believe that? They pay me for it. So I'm sitting down, and this is in September, and all the guys in there, you know, are ex-athletes too, so they have a weight loss challenge. So all right, they're gonna have a weight loss challenge. I'm gonna be a part of it too. Well, when we all stepped on the scale. They had a 400-pound scale. I stepped on the scale. The scale said 365. So on the highest point I could in the room, I wrote down 365. That was my goal weight, and I had to get down. My goal weight was 330. That's what I wanted to be. I'm comfortable at 330. I like being at 330. So I put it up there. So after 2 weeks, I was tired of the weight loss challenge, so I stopped doing it. After 2 weeks, I gave up on it. Those guys kept doing it. So these guys dropped like 20 pounds here, 20 pounds there. I mean, these guys started looking like they were, you know, diesel again, like they could still play a little bit. Well, they ended the weight loss challenge was the last week in November. Last week in November, one guy lost 30 pounds. Another guy lost 22 pounds. This other guy lost 33 pounds. I'm like, wow, you guys did a great job. So I said, you know what? Let me jump on a scale and see how much I weigh. I get on the scale, and when I get on it, it doesn't have numbers on it. It says triple E across. So I am over 400 pounds. I'm like, yo, I am over 400 pounds. So immediately I leave there, go to Walmart, I go get a scale. The scale goes to 450 pounds. I'm like, all right, I'll get this. So I bring it home, I step on the scale. This scale has triple D's. I'm over 450 pounds. The next day I call up and say, hey man, Sean, you know, the lead producer, I can't come in today, man. I gotta go to the doctor, man. He said, why, man? I said, dude, I just tried to jump on a scale. I'm 450 pounds. I'm over 450 pounds. So I'm scared to death now. Scared to death. So I turned around, I said, look, go to the doctor. I get on the scale. The scale said 463 pounds. Now here I'm supposed to be this world-class athlete. Can jump tall buildings in a single bound. Can run through brick walls. I wasn't running anywhere. I definitely wasn't jumping anywhere at that point. And I could barely breathe going up the steps. And things started coming to me like, you know what? I'm always taking the elevator instead of walking up the steps because my knees hurt, making excuses. I said, I got to do something. So the first thing I did, I had to educate myself. See, education is big in my household, huge in my household. So I tell my kids all the time, without an education, you can't do anything. And I lead by example. I graduated from Kansas State with a psych degree. During the NFL, I couldn't go to medical school, but I did graduate with an MBA in healthcare management. I own a nursing school in New Jersey. We teach EKG, phlebotomy, patient care tech, CNA, and we also have an LPN program. So it's important to go to school in my household. So what do? I sit down, I start researching, how can I lose this weight? Because I understand and know my psyche isn't that strong at this point. It's not as strong as it used to be when I was playing football. I mean, you could tell me when I was playing football, look, you got to be at 450 pounds, and I'd be at 450 pounds. You say you had to be under 300 pounds, I'd be 298. I didn't have that psyche anymore. I didn't have the belief in myself that I could do it anymore. So I said, look, I got to find some way to get it off. So I started researching stuff. So I researched a lot of stuff. I researched lap band. It wasn't for me. I did the research. I'm not that disciplined that I'm going to go in, get a shot, and mess around with the ring. I couldn't do that. But I also didn't want to go to the extreme direction and have my stomach this big. I didn't want to do that because I like food too much. So I decided I'd do the sleeve. So I did my research on the sleeve. And I had a great doctor. I went to the Kennedy Healthcare System. They did a great job of, really sitting me down and allowing me to understand what I was about to do, how I was about to take this journey. Because this is a journey. It's not you just go in, boom, bam, get the surgery, and you're already going to be skinny. It's not like that. I mean, you have to change your whole way of thinking when you're doing it. Everything has to change. Your whole psyche has to change. You never stop loving the food you eat. You always going to love the food you eat. But you got to understand, my point, if it's bigger than my fist, I can't eat it. That's a big fist too, right? So I still, get full now. But if it's bigger than my fist, I can't eat it. And that's some of the things that I had to think about, and understand that when I get this surgery, I can't do it. I also had to understand that when I'm eating, I can't drink anything. Because if I drink and eat at the same time, I'm going to throw up. I don't want to throw up, so I don't eat and drink at the same time. It wasn't something that just came overnight. It took me a long time to understand that this is how you do it. Your body's not going to allow you to eat as much food as you used to eat. It's not going to allow you to eat and drink at the same time. It's not going to allow you to be that person anymore. So I had to change that way of thinking. I also had to understand that when I did eat, I had to make sure I brought in the proper nutrition. I had to make sure I bring in enough protein. See, with me, it was never a problem with me eating protein because I love steaks, love chicken, love fish. I love protein. But sometimes that's not enough because you still have other stuff you have to eat too to keep your energy up. You have to eat carbohydrates. You got to eat all the stuff. Make sure you bring in enough fiber. So those are all things you have to think about when you're going to get these surgeries. And you have to understand that your whole way of thinking, your whole lifestyle has to change. You have to reteach yourself how to eat. You have to reteach yourself how to be healthy. So you have to take the right vitamins. You have to make sure that you plan things accordingly. So as I progressed, I went from getting the surgery and weighing 462 pounds to now I weigh 330 again and I feel comfortable now, And sometimes, if I want to, I can lose more weight. Yeah, thank you. Like in the summertime, I want to get my beach look on, so I lose a little more, so I get down to like 325, maybe 320, but I have a plan now. I didn't have a plan at first, because when I was in the NFL, it was eat whatever you want to eat. Like I say, 2 blooming onions, that's 4,000 calories by itself. Plus an extra big baked potato, like I said, with sour cream, cheddar cheese, chives, bacon, more cheese, and then more bacon. That's probably about 7,000 calories by itself. But like I said, it's up to you how healthy you want to be. Because I understand, just like the NFL, when I was in the NFL to me meant not for long. Not for long. You got a small window to maximize your money-making potential. Well, I have the same thing. I have a small window to maximize my health. If I'd have stayed that big, not only would I wouldn't have been healthy, but I probably wouldn't live as long as I've been living. Because at 462 pounds, my body couldn't take it. My knees and joints couldn't take it. I had sleep apnea. I had diabetes. You know, I had all this stuff. I had blood pressure was high. I'm taking medicine for that. I was taking all that stuff. And it didn't occur to me that I was too big because I was used to being this big. When I say I was big, I was perfectly round. I mean, perfectly round. You could just roll me off the stage. Perfectly round, you know? But I mean, you have to change and understand, you know, what you're taking on. See, now, I no longer have sleep apnea. I don't have to sleep my CPAP. I no longer have diabetes. My blood pressure is right. And the biggest thing to me, what really scared me, that just a normal offensive lineman, they say offensive and defensive linemen, it's hard for me to say, but they average dying at the age of 55. The average offensive lineman, average defensive lineman passes away at 55. I got too much living to do. We have enlarged hearts because our bodies are so big, it has to pump more blood and oxygen to our bodies. So I'm already at a disadvantage because I've been big this long. I got to do whatever it takes for me to be healthy. So as I progress and I learn each day. I can't eat this, I can't eat this. I can't drink this, but I can drink this. Had to cut all the sodas out. I even cut out most juices. Even though, you know, they're not really, you know, juices have, to me, have a lot of calories, and I take in a lot of calories from juices. Sodas are even worse for me. But I feel good now. And just like you ladies, I'm glad you guys made that decision. Y'all looking good. Woo. But like I said, you know, thank you guys for listening to me. I hope I didn't bore you. I don't have slideshows, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't have slideshows. I just give you my personal experience on my journey and what I did to get to where I'm at right now. So thank you very much. Oh, now we talk. Hey, yeah, I played in the Super Bowl, y'all. Let's talk about that now. You got any questions? I played with Ben Roethlisberger, played Jerome Bettis' last year, won a Super Bowl with him, took him home. I mean, it was an incredible journey, incredible journey. I mean, at the time, we were 7-5 at the time during the year, and we had to win out in order to get to the Super Bowl. And we had went Monday night to play the Indianapolis Colts on a Monday night. Well, we went up to Indianapolis, and they put something on us. Woo! They beat us something good. I mean, they beat us real bad and made us like it and sent us home. So we got on the plane on our way home. Joey Porter, starting outside linebacker, number 55. This guy's so mean. If he didn't play football, he'd be dead or in jail. That's how mean he was. He gets up and tells everybody, we got a team meeting tomorrow, Tuesday morning, 7 o'clock. I'm like, nah, Tuesday's our day off. 7 o'clock, be there. So everybody on that plane went back to the facility at 7 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, we didn't get back because we played Monday night. We didn't get back to Pittsburgh until maybe 4:30 in the morning. Everybody was up there at 7 o'clock in the morning in this team meeting, even the coaches. He gets up, say, hey, look, coaches, get out. Talking about the head coach too, Bill Cowher, Mr. Chin, looking all, get out. He kicks all the coaches out. He turns around to every man in the room, to each man. If you don't feel as though we're going to win the Super Bowl for Jerome Bettis, get out right now. Now, he didn't say it like that. It was a couple of explicit words in there. But he said, if you don't believe in this, get out now. Get out. I mean it. We will not lose another game. Nobody in this room will miss another block, another tackle, another throw. We will be perfect from this point on. Everybody sit there and say, okay then. Then he calls the coaches in. The coaches come in. BC, He didn't even call him Coach Howard. BC, if you don't believe we're going to win the Super Bowl, you can get out of here too. And any of you coaches here, we are winning this for Jerome Bettis. The Super Bowl is in Detroit, Michigan. This is where Jerome Bettis grew up. This is where he lived. And we're going to send him home on the highest note he can. He's going to retire being a Super Bowl champion. So all the coaches said, okay, then, that's fine. We then left there and went out and practiced for 2 hours. After playing the game and getting our butts whooped Monday night, we practiced for 2 hours. We ran off 5 straight games, won a Super Bowl, and sent Jerome Bettis out on a winning note. It was my last Super Bowl. It was really my last year playing because I got hurt that next year. But wow, that was what an experience, you know. So that's my own football story I got for you guys. Yes, ma'am. Question? Back in front of the camera. Oh, well, she said, when am I going to get back in front of the camera? That's one of the things with having weight loss surgery. You know, at first, you say the camera puts on 10 pounds. When I was on camera, when I first started out, when I was 460 pounds, it put on 100 pounds. I was like, hi, I'm Barrett Brooks. No, they don't like that. You got to be a little smooth like I am now, you know. Hi, this is Barrett Brooks on ComcastSportsNet.net. We're going to talk to Philadelphia Eagles. Can Chip Kelly turn his team around? Can he have more than 2 or 3 plays in the first half? Now I can do it, you know. Now I look a little better, so I like that. Any other questions? Oh, there you go. I went from 462 to 330, so I'm not good at math. So whatever that is. You know what it is. What is it? 97 pounds? Any other questions? You know, I like when I talk to the elementary school kids, when I go talk to them, because they be like, I say, what is it? How much money you got in the bank? I'm like, what? Be quiet. You know. Let me tell you about this. Oh, my goodness. We're talking about this story. So that's the first thing they said when they brought me up. Make sure you bring the Super Bowl rings. All right, I put the Super Bowl ring on. I'm driving. I could stop by. We have these places called Wawa's in Jersey, just like 7-Elevens. You guys have 7-Elevens or whatever? Well, I get a coffee. I'm drinking the coffee as I'm driving. All of a sudden, I spill it on my hand, and it spill on the ring. So I'm like, oh, man. So I take it off and put it in a napkin and dry it off. When I'm driving, I put it in my cup where my thing was. So I just keep driving because I don't want it, you know, spill any more. So I finish drinking my coffee. I get out, and I go catch the plane. So right now, if y'all see me sweating, it's not because it's hot up here, because I got a $50,000 ring in a $20,000 truck. Right now. My Super Bowl ring is in a parking lot in the Philadelphia airport in a napkin, and my truck is not one of those, yeah, I'm saying, and my truck's not that inconspicuous, you know, it's all blacked out, got 26-inch rims, you know, and it's sitting in my truck right now. So please say a prayer for me that I get home. I was about to call my wife and say, babe, you got to go to the airport and get my ring. But I said, no, I'm not. You know why? I told you about taking that ring out. You should leave the ring at home. You should leave it in there. You shouldn't wear it nowhere unless you're with me. Keeping it in there. I'm like, so I didn't tell her. So hopefully it's in my truck. $20,000 truck, $50,000 ring.
Thank you. That's awesome. Wasn't that awesome? Barrett Brooks here in Cedar Park. Awesome.